Hello everybody, I am excited to talk to you guys about a popular topic. Now this topic is training tools. Now we get questions all the time. What type of training tools do I need? What should I bring into a training session? Are training tools necessary? What are good? What's bad? What's right for my dog? And I want to go ahead and just clear up a little bit of that information right now. Now, they're training tools, if you go by at least my definition, or like that we use at Dog Obedience Group, is anything that's used for the training process. Now, that becomes also kind of goes in line with management. It helps me manage the dog at times as well. Now, we can look at treats, we look at clickers, we look at harnesses and all sorts of different types of collars that are out there. We also need to consider looking at items such as our leashes. Our leashes are something that can be considered a training tool. That unless required by law, most of our dogs need them, and because they're not trained well enough to be off of them in public settings. So let's dive into those training tools and let's find out. I'm going to discuss my top 3 favorite training tools, why I recommend them, but let's discuss the pros and the cons of those as well, because every training tool is a little bit different and every dog's a little bit different. So you need to know what works for your dog and what doesn't, or at least have a better idea of what you should try. So the first one I like to talk about, and I'm going to write it down here, is we're going to talk about the Easy Walk harness. Okay, I'll write that down. Easy Walk harness. Now this is made by PetSafe. Now a couple of things on harnesses that we always have to consider. One, a lot of harnesses do hook on the back of the dog. For most harnesses that hook on the back of the dog, I prefer to avoid those due to the fact that that generally gives the dog more pulling power. It allows them to lean in with their chest and really drive forward. Now that's not the case for all of them, but for a majority of them. Now an Easy Walk harness buckles on around the dog. It's very simple to put on the dog, and once it's fitted, it has multiple fit points and adjustment points. This one has 4 adjustment points that I can use to work for the dog. Now, this one does great on the factor that leash goes on the front, so dog starts to pull, it pinches together, and it does not cause any discomfort, but it does restrict the range of motion. So the dog's not able to extend their leg out quite as far, helping them or preventing them from being able to dig in and pull quite as hard. Now with the leash on the front of the chest, we also find that that is going to pull the dog back around to you when they do start to pull on that. So very, very good training tool. PetSafe has been making this one for quite a while. We have a lot of clients who are very successful on it. But something that we do need to consider is, one, a couple of dogs that I don't like using this for. I don't like using it for shorter leg dogs, so I generally won't use it on the Dachshund, Basset Hounds, things of that nature. Reason being is those guys have a pretty big chest bone, so that really throws this piece around and makes it easier for them to pull their legs up and out of that harness. 2, I'm not going to use this on a really heavy pulling dog. So if I've got a dog who can pretty much take me for a walk, and I have no control over them at all, I am probably not going to use this tool. It does not take away enough of that pulling power to allow you to get them to a trainable standpoint. Now, that being said, medium to low pulling dogs, great training tool. Now, my last warning on this though is, if you are an active dog owner or a very active dog, this is not the training tool for you. If I am out jogging with my dog on a daily basis or long walks, restricting that range of motion, if they're pulling, will cause muscle fibers to shorten. Therefore, we could risk injury in the future. This is good for the low energy, minor pulling dog that we just need a little bit of assistance while going through the training process. Now keep that in mind. I'm going to say it over and over again. Training tools are just meant to help you through the training process. They should not be something you're using for the life of the dog. So that's the Easy Walk harness by PetSafe. Extremely amazing, very durable, and they do come in a lot of colors. Now, we're going to talk about another harness that really balances out the pros and cons of that Easy Walk. Now, this is the Blue 9 balance harness. So, balance harness. Now, this one, like I said, this is Blue 9. They are one of my favorite companies. They make these climbs right here. They make some incredible tree pouches, and they're just amazing to work with, and they make really good quality product. So I'm a huge fan of Blue 9. Now the balance harness, you notice now this one, it's got a little bit more to it. Now the thing I like about that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one right here has 6 different adjustment points, which makes that absolutely incredible and very easy to customize to almost any dog's body style. That is just simply amazing to me. Now, this one also has a front hook for the dog for the leash or a rear hook. Now that front hook, we talked about not enjoying that rear hook for certain purposes. Well, generally this rear hook comes in pretty handy if I'm going to go out jogging with my dog, if I'm still working on some leash handling, but I need to, I'm going to go into some dog sports like agility. Now, generally we're not on a leash during agility, but when you're first learning a lot of dog sports, the dog is going to be on leash. So with this one, that front hook, it's going to have the same benefits that we had from the Easy Walk harness, that with the control of the front of the dog, it starts to pull them back. Now you'll notice in here, this comes up and around the neck. This is not going to restrict any range of motion. So it's still great for a medium pulling dog, and in fact I have seen it work pretty well for some heavy pulling dogs. But this one is going to be great for your very active dog, not restricting any range of motion, no chance that we're going to shorten any of those muscle fibers. So it's going to remain pretty safe for any dog. Now I do like the factor too that Blue 9 does give a lot of different custom colors that you can get. You can always stop into our facility and check out a variety of them as well. But the Blue 9 harness, I don't have a lot of cons on this guy. The only thing I can say is that if I've got a really heavy pulling dog, then this is probably not the tool for them. But for a very versatile harness, whether I'm doing dog sports, I'm out for a jog, or I'm working on loose leash walking, this is a go-to harness. I specifically use this one on my dogs during some of the training processes as well. All right, now we're going to move on to another item. Now the Gentle Leader is the other one I enjoy. Now let's see here, Gentle Leader. Now this is going to be made by PetSafe as well. And the one thing that we look at on this Gentle Leader right out the gate is the concept of the Gentle Leader is the same concept as like you would use with a horse. How do I control a horse? I control him for the head. So where we talked about these guys being great for that medium to lower pulling dog, this is going to be the tool that is absolutely incredible for that heavy pulling dog. The dog that you really fear having any control of, and you need some immediate strong help until the training process has really started kicking in. I absolutely love this for it. Now, so that's one of the pros. It's going to quickly take away most of that pulling power. Hence, this is not a muzzle. The dog can still open their mouth, but it's going to go over the nose and around the neck. Now, leash goes down here. So now, as soon as the dog pulls, I've got control of their head. I don't even have to do most of the work. The collar or the Gentle Leader does it all itself. So that is a wonderful part about this training tool. Now there's a couple of things that we need to think about though. One of the cons, or a couple of the cons, is the factor that you suddenly put this on the dog and most dogs are going to throw a fit for a while. You generally need to do a little bit of desensitization work for about a week to help the dog adjust until they start looking forward to having this on, realizing that it generally means we're getting ready to go on a walk or a nice adventure. But that is one of the cons to it. Sometimes one of the other cons is simply getting it on. Some clients really don't mind putting this thing on and they've got it down to an art, and others find that there's little pieces, getting it on there tight enough that it does not slip off their nose becomes a little bit more difficult. I love the Gentle Leader though, and there's several reasons why I love the Gentle Leader. If we can work through some of those fits and help the dog desensitize to this, it does give that owner who is really struggling and who's really feeling overwhelmed with their dogs on a walk, a little bit of control again. That helps them relax, that helps the training process really start to move forward, and in classes, at home, and out and about, it goes well. Now, the other part I really enjoy is the training tool is meant to just be that. It's a training tool. We should work away from those training tools. There should be a means to an end. So on this guy, I can take this and use it as a reward system later on in the dog's life, meaning I can slip the nose. Dog's doing really well on a walk. Our training's working. We are sitting there communicating with them that where we want them, and so we slip it off. I'm still in the collar. Now, we see that pesky cat or one of those neighborhood squirrels, and your dog becomes overly excited. They start to head out, and you cue them back to heel, and you don't exist anymore. Well, once we get them back, we slip it right back on, and I've got my reward system back and forth on this Easy Walk harness. So it's very easy to start transitioning away and having those opportunities to kind of find out, do I still have a weakness in my training? Now, let's discuss one last thing on these training tools. And this is something that I've said a million times now. Training tools are just that. They are something that helps you get the job done. They do not replace training. Training and communication between you and your dog are what ultimately are going to lead to amazing walks and amazing adventures through life. Having the right training tool will help you get there. Some of your dogs will never need that training tool. The leash and collar are 100% all right. And if that's the case, then don't try to add another piece to it. Utilize the leash and the collar because they're working well for you. Now, if you find you're having a hard time working away from a training tool, please reach out to us, or reach out to another trainer, and let's help you and your dog reach some goals. That is what I have for you guys today. Like I said, feel free to stop into our facility at any time to ask any questions, or we can help you fit the right harness for you. Remember the names: Easy Walk harness, Balance harness, Gentle Leader. That's what I have for you guys today. Check out our videos on how to pick out a quality treat when you're as you surf our social media.